Welcome back to Sustainability Unveiled, your source for insightful, bite-sized takes on sustainability issues. Today, we're diving into a fascinating op-ed written by Tanya Bodell, titled, How the Clean Energy Transition Transcends the 2024 Election. In just 5 minutes, we'll explore her perspective on why, no matter the election outcome, the clean energy transition is well underway. Let's get started. First, Tanya Bodell paints a compelling picture. The debate between Vice President Harris and former President Trump during the 2024 presidential campaign highlighted just how pivotal energy and climate policy are in shaping this election. But interestingly, Tanya argues that the momentum for decarbonizing the economy transcends whoever wins the election. Do you agree with that? Do you think a change in leadership can drastically slow this momentum? Or is the clean energy transition too strong to be derailed? Tanya makes it clear that the clean energy transition is not just a political talking point, it's a historic trend. Energy transitions have happened every 40 years or so, whether it was the shift from wood to coal or from oil to natural gas. Today, it's about moving toward renewable energy and greater energy efficiency. What do you think is driving this constant shift in energy sources? Could it be human innovation, or is it something bigger like market demand? Now let's talk numbers. Tanya points out that in 2022, the U.S. generated more electricity from renewable energy sources than coal for the first time. That's a significant milestone. On top of that, Bloomberg NEF predicts that 70% of new vehicle sales by 2040 will be zero-emission vehicles, even without new government policies. How do these projections make you feel about the pace of the energy transition? Does it inspire confidence? Or do you think we need to speed up even more? Tanya's point is clear. This transition is bigger than any one election, and it's happening not just at the federal level, but across individual states. In fact, 29 states have set renewable portfolio standards, and 24 states, along with DC and Puerto Rico, have committed to 100% carbon-free energy. It's fascinating to see states like South Dakota and Tennessee, which aren't necessarily known for environmental activism, leading the way. What does this tell us about the role of states in pushing clean energy policy forward? Should we be focusing more on state-level efforts instead of just the national conversation? Tanya also highlights the international scene, where the Paris Climate Agreement in 2015 sparked global decarbonization efforts. This pressure on businesses to decarbonize isn't just local, it's global. Companies are now being held accountable, not only by regulators, but by their customers and investors. Did you know that 95% of S&P 500 companies have sustainability plans in place? It's no longer just a trend, it's a necessity. So, if you're running a business, how are you preparing for this shift? Are you thinking about your sustainability plan, or perhaps your company's social license to operate? To wrap it up, Tanya leaves us with an important reminder. While the outcome of the election may influence the speed of the energy transition, it won't change its direction. The Infrastructure Act and Inflation Reduction Act have already locked in federal incentives, and companies are racing to meet new regulatory requirements. Do you think federal incentives are enough to keep this momentum going? Or do we need to see even more action from the private sector and local governments? So, where does that leave us? As we head into the election, it's clear that decarbonization is here to stay. Whether it's being driven by states, businesses, or global agreements, the clean energy transition is well on its way. But here's the question for you. What role will you play in this transition? How are you preparing for the inevitable shift towards renewable energy, both as a consumer and as part of your community or business? That's all for today's segment of expert advice in 5 minutes or less. We hope you found some food for thought in Tanya Bodell's insights on the clean energy transition. Stay tuned for more expert analysis and tips right here on Sustainability Unveiled.